Hi guys, following up from my last video, I thought I was on a roll, so I'll chuck in another one. Something I actually haven't done before. It's a video about something close to my heart. Is my 2002 cr250R, which I've had for, be going on close to 14 years now. Now, believe it or not, this bike has well over 1,000 hours. For at least 12 years or so, 13 years, I rode it on the trails, the local forests. I tried a lot of stuff to set it up for the bush. It got me by. It was a great bike. I had hours and hours of fun and thousands of kilometers on it. Obviously, she's had a few birthdays. Now that I've moved to trusty old Beta 300, I actually probably wouldn't want to ride it in the forest anymore. She was a handful. Could be a steep learning curve, especially in the wet. So what I've done is I've just given her a real birthday. She's a garage and track queen now. No more forest riding, no more woods, no more getting smashed up and whipped with sticks and rocks and all that rubbish. She's in retirement. So I'll just give you a run through on a few things that I've done. So it's pretty standard. Obviously had the engine rebuilt quite a few times. When I first bought it, I actually blew the cases out. So these cases are out of a 2003. It's a bit of a bitzer. I fried the CDI, so it's got a 2007 CDI, so she's a bit of a Franken bike. But you wouldn't know by looking at it. All the torment she's been through, she scrubs up pretty good. Now, as I said, I've recently done a birthday on her. All the new plastics, some lovely new stickers by Ringmaster OEM. They look flash as. A couple of years ago, I had the motor vapor blasted. Around the same time, I managed to source this lovely Bud HGS expansion chamber. And I'll go out and limb and say this is actually custom made, because what happened at the time, I think it was during COVID, is a local guy in ran King Lake Motorcycles. He'd always put in orders and he'd get pipes made for a lot of 65s and 85s and sent over to Australia. And I asked him if he could get me one for a cr250. They actually didn't have any. So while they did a run of 65 and 85s pipes, they actually made me a pipe, especially for me. So we'll call it custom, yeah. It's probably as close to the OEM as you'll get. It runs like a dream. In fact, what I've done is I've still got and a lot of people are probably going to hate this and say I'm talking shit, but it's all true. It's the original TMX 38 that you hear everybody say, oh, they're rubbish, chuck them in the bin, you can't tune them. Well, guess what? You can. And I'm actually going to go out here and say, I personally believe these are a better carburetor than the Kian. And the reason I say that, nothing to do with the power that you get out of them, even though this Mikuni will make better power on this bike, right? But the fact that so many parts on these carbs are replaceable. I can replace the seat, I can replace the needle jet. On a Kian, once the needle wears out the needle tube, she's done. Chuck her in the bin, right? You can chase it to fatter needles, but once it gets past that, it's done. So they come out with an S8 jet nozzle, which is way too rich. So I go down to an S7, which brought it back to the standard jetting in the middle clip, and she runs crisp as. I'll chuck some videos up on this channel actually of my son riding it, and you can hear just how good she hums along. Even in the trails, she never spluttered. Once I went to this, it was pretty good. In saying that, what I've also done to her as well, and it's probably helped achieve it to get it run so smooth, is these cable activated power valves, the RC, which stands for revolution control, runs off the CDI. It's electronic power valve. They cop a lot of flack for having no power or being too linear. Look, they don't have that hard hit like a centrifugal power valve because they don't wind up and just bang open, but they're pretty progressive, so they make power over a broader sort of spectrum. So someone that just thinks two strokes all about the power hit and we're going smashing it in a straight line, they're going to love probably the 001. A high level rider can ride this through the gears, upper gear. It's quite a torquey motor. In saying that, the way they're set up standard, the squish band's too large. Port timing could have been dropped. So yeah, they can do better. What I've done is I've had 10 thou machined off the bottom of the cylinder. I'm running Carbon Tech mid-range reeds, which I've done a video on as well. And also I ground back the stopper that stops the actual exhaust flap. So the cable will pull back up. You can adjust the cable and it'll actually like drop just a tiny bit lower. So the mid-range on this bike is actually insane because it's just builds up and it's just all torque. Yeah, there's no savage hit like older YZ250 or 2000 model CR, but once this thing gets in the mid, you know about it. There's a fair bit of power there. So they're only little mods I've done, and it works really well. Like I said, I'm on standard jetting. I can go up into the mountains and trail ride of this. I can go down to somewhere like Rosebud, and it just runs like a dream. There is no issues with jetting. I don't change it despite what anybody says. Call me a liar, but this is the facts. I don't stuff around with jetting anymore. This setting is how it is. Everything's together. The exhaust has something to do with that. It just runs really well this way. What else have I done? I've had Darren at Trackrite. He's done an excellent job on the suspension. She'd be pretty, well over 1,000 hours. She was pretty loose. What he's done to it, I'm really happy with it. It actually brought it back up and feels like he's taken 10 years off the bike. It travels really well. Managed to get a really nice seat cover too. I had to actually buy a bike to get that, but that's another story. These things get a bit harder to get. I have a set of spare engine cases and a few other bits. Obviously there's a bit of wear on the clutch. Swing arm was chopped out. That's actually swing arm off a cr250. They will fit up to 2010, exactly the same swing arm. Radiators are dead straight. When I bought it, I chucked a set of cheap D-Vol radiator guards on it, and well, they've done their job. Like I said, well over 1,000 hours in the bush. She's been on a few tumbles, and yeah, they really looked after it. Obviously new plastics, Scotch Brite the frame up, get that nice and OEM sort of look. I don't like the polish look on it. She got the DRC foot pegs, which are based on the standard. They're just probably about 5mm wider, so nothing too flash there. In fact, it's just like basically new bearings, those mods, little mods to the motor to make her hum along, clean frame, look after her, always wash her properly. She's my baby. Not bad for a 22-year-old bike. I will put some videos up of the young bloke ripping around this because I probably won't do it any justice. But yeah, there it is. My 02 cr250. Cheers, thanks for watching.